And I think everybody knows Margaret Flick. She's been here multiple times before. And she's going to be talking about being our best selves. She's
Yes.
been a minister in Northern California to a couple of churches, and since leaving the pulpit, she's continuing to write New Thought articles for Unity, and she also volunteers as a hospice um, and bereavement counselor. So, a lovely person that we are blessed to have known personally at seminary. Margaret, take it away.
Thank you. And I did realize I should have read my bio because I retired from hospice. But I still do stuff with them. But anyway, thank you very much. Anyhow, good morning, everyone. The title of my talk today is Being Our Best Selves. And the idea came to me as I was talking with one of my friends about how it's really hard to discern the truth these days. Whether it's whatever we consume, whatever we hear, there seems to be a lot of omission, let's put it that way, a lot of fudging with the truth. And so, how do I stay grounded in this chaos and this uncertainty? Because it just seems like everything is pretty unstable right now, everywhere. I mean, in the world with climate change. So I looked within for my own truth. And it's being really honest with myself, because there are parts of me that I have disowned. There are parts of me that I think we're all like this. We make excuses for parts of ourselves. We don't want to look at that. We would, no, 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 that's not me. And so that's what today's really about, is being able to own all of it and to love ourselves through all of it so that we can better love other people. And the ultimate goal is compassion, which I think is probably the most beautiful expression of love. So I'd like to start out with a poem by Joyce Rupp. Why is it there are some creatures I cannot befriend, like wasps, cockroaches, and skinny red worms that wriggle too much? Why is it that swans, antelope, and frisky white rabbits have much more appeal? Why is it that I cannot befriend some creatures of my spirit, like anger, sadness, and grief, while I give an eager welcome to my visitors of contentment and joy? My ego still wears blinders. My vision of life still weeps with false judgments. Buddhist teacher Tara Brach says that evolution has rigged all of us with a negativity bias, a survival-driven habit to scan for what's wrong and to fixate on it. In contemporary society, a pervasive target is our own sense of unworthiness. We habitually fixate on how we're falling short in our relationships, our work, appearance, mood, and behaviors. And while self-aversion is a primary reflex, we also fixate on the faults of others and how they're letting us down and how they should be different. Whether we're focusing inwardly or outwardly, we're creating an enemy and imprisoning ourselves in the sense of a separate, threatened self. And she says, from the wisest, kindest place in your being, try to offer what is most needed, and that includes to ourselves. And as human beings, we crave security. We are fearful of change, and a lot of times we don't want to take responsibility for what we've done. We tend to blame it for someone else. Especially if you're married, you kind of know this one already. So, but no, you did it, I did it, but it's coming to that place where we can accept responsibility and to not have it be a bad thing and to not look at ourselves as less than, but just human. And Pema Chodron talks about, she said that we want to be right because when we write, we feel good. And if everybody agrees, then we're all happy. But if somebody disagrees with us, then all of a sudden we feel bad. And we start to think, well, why didn't they agree with me? Blah, blah, blah. And she said, when we aren't right and we feel bad, this is how wars start and race riots and misogyny and all of that starts, because we want to be right, we want to feel good, and somehow being right makes us feel good. But are we ever really truly right? I mean, I guess that's the thing that we have to get into, is when we look at truth, real truth, does it exist and how does it exist? But I think what it is being honest with ourselves. So my understanding of being my best self, Margaret Flick's opinion, is to unapologetically be my authentic self. Letting go of the mask, the desire to please, to be accepted or loved, to just be me. And I know we all kind of fall into that sometimes of, manipulating a situation or not being really honest with ourselves about what we need. No, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. I have a friend who says she's not angry, but her face is bright red. So, it's just those kinds of things where, we're not really honest with ourselves. And being our best self is being able to say, I made a mistake, or my brain just doesn't work that way, or whatever it is, to just be okay with it, to not try to pretend we're something we're not. And one of the gifts of age is perspective, hopefully. And we have a better idea of who we are and what's important to us. And, hopefully we're able to admit when we're wrong. Hopefully we're able to say, I screwed up. I am so sorry if I hurt your feelings. Or to apologize to ourselves. Why did I do that? I am so sorry to my spirit self for not being forgiving. I am so sorry to my body self that I ate what I ate because that was not good for you. It's just that ability to look at all of it without judgment, acceptance, and a focal point for where we need to heal. So if I do something that I'm not happy with, what is that about for me? What was I trying to achieve? What did I need? What am I trying to cover? So it's being really clear and honest with ourselves. And it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And maybe all of you are ready to ascend, so this is not something that you can identify with, but I'm not there yet. I have to accept that I'm not special, that I have dark thoughts. We all do. We all have stories in our head that sometimes I'm going, good God, where did that come from? And whether we hang on to it or not is our choice. We can all stop. I don't want to think that anymore. Why do I have that story in my head? And again, what do I need? What is this story trying to tell me? Am I running for victim, hero, or villain? What role am I trying to take on right now? And if I need to be the hero, and all of them are not healthy, so being the hero implies that other people are helpless. And being the villain means that, you've got some kind of weird stuff going on about you need to be bad, or being the victim is you're helpless. And we're none of those things. Truly, we are none of those things. We all just are. And, but it's a choice, and we get to choose. And sometimes we forget we have a choice. We just let it run. And sometimes we make that choice. I want to be angry. I want to be a jerk right now. And what is that teaching me? What is that about? And that to me is coming from our best selves, to be honest, to be authentic, to take responsibility, and to heal from it. So I've been asking myself, who would I be if I allowed myself to look at my anger or people that I have a hard time forgiving? Who would I be if I looked in the mirror and saw all of me? The beautiful, the witch, the harpy, the crone, the fairy, the minister. I'm all of those things. I see that I am human and I am divine. And the life of Jesus is just such a beautiful example of that. His ability to heal the sick, but also to curse out a fig tree. I mean, we're all of it. We're all of it. So in the grief and the chaos of a changing, unstable world, what can I rely on? I can rely on me and the truth of my being. And that's pretty much what I can rely on right now. And also, I can rely on those whom I love and trust, and that we can support each other. We can support each other in our authenticity, in being truthful. I have one friend who I remember she said to me, there was something had gone on and she did something, and she said, well, if you think that's bad, you should see my shadow self. And I thought, I love her. I love you so much, because that means I can be me with you. You know, there's no pretense, there's no artifice. I can be who I truly am with you. And it is a relief to be able to say, I screwed up. Or, wow, one of my friends said, I tend to be manipulative. And I go, yeah, I know. We all can be manipulative. But it's just that honesty that just creates a freedom and an opening of being, that we can be truly our best selves. And of course, for me, nature is always, to me, a wisdom and truth teacher. And I'd like to read a poem from To Learn from Animal Being by John O'Donohue, who, God rest his soul, was a beautiful writer and poet. Nearer to the earth's heart, deeper within its silence, animals know this world in a way we never will. We who are ever distant and distracted by the parade of bright windows, thought opens. Their seamless presence is not fractured thus. Stranded between time gone and time emerging, we manage seldom to be where we are, whereas they are always looking out from the here and now. May we learn to return and rest in the beauty of animal being. Learn how to lean low, leave our locked minds, and freed senses feel the earth breathing with us. May we enter the lightness of spirit and slip frequently into the feel of the wild. Let the clear silence of our animal being cleanse our hearts of corrosive words. May we learn to walk upon the earth with all their confidence and clear-eyed stillness, so that our minds might be baptized in the name of the wind and the light and the rain. And this is from his book, To Bless the Space Between Us. So another thing that I find helpful is to look at time the way nature looks at time. And I know there's a Muskogee woman, Joy Harrow, who is a poet, and she talks about looking at the whole of time that nature shows us. It's seasons and cycles and generations. And it's kind of how we look at our families, like the generations of families and the seasons of our lives. And I'm guessing that most of us are in fall or winter right now, not spring, but to be able to look at that as well and to be okay with it. When I turned 75, it was, I don't know, something shifted in me, because all of a sudden, like, wow, I don't know how much time I've got left. What do I really want to, who do I want to be in this last part of my life? What do I want to give up? What do I want to hold on to? And I think the thing that I've come to is I don't want to be anything other than who I am. And I don't want to worry about what I look like as I age. I don't want to have to worry about, fitting in or whether people like me. If you don't like me, that's okay. And I never thought I would ever say this to my 20-year-old self, but it is a gift. It truly is. And so when we look at the whole of time, we realize that what we're going through right now is just something that has a cycle. It's a season, and it will pass. Just as things have gone on from the beginning of time. There has been cruelty, and there has been slavery, and there has been war, and there has been injustice. but there has also been beauty and forgiveness and compassion. So it's all happening all the time, all at once. And so the natural world reveals diversity, and to be able to accept that as well, the differences in people, that they're not like us, but that's okay. Because the one thing that I'm also realizing is that we live from the level of consciousness that we have at the time. So there are things that we are not aware of in someone's life, that maybe they are on a path that we cannot even comprehend. But I've been finding myself being very critical of people who don't think like me and who may have voted a different way from me. And I am thinking, being very critical, but people operate and live from the level of their consciousness. And for those of us who are on a spiritual path, we know that there are things that we are aware of and have a deep level of consciousness about, and there are things we are oblivious to still. So it is that area of compassion. It's that area of being able to see diversity, people different from ourselves, regardless of age or race or belief systems, that we meet in a place of compassion and understanding, and to let go of what we don't understand, because we value what we love, and what we love can be vastly different. And none of us know what someone else's path is. Sometimes we may not know what our own path is. So we have compassion for ourselves and for others. And the Dalai Lama said, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. And I'd like to read another poem, just really brief, by Joyce Rupp. The clear call of the bright red sentinel of dawn sweeps out dreams from my sleepy mind. I become aware of the intense beauty of life, the gift of another day. And while the cardinal continues to call, my soul weeps with the wonder of it all. And so that to me is the ability to see and to have compassion, because it's an understanding, it's a level of seeing that is so freeing and so expansive and so wondrous. It can happen in nature, that connection of feeling something greater than ourselves. But compassion, to me, connects us to the divine, because it's being able to see the divine in all things. And there is a beauty to it. And that beauty is the balm, to me, of whatever chaos is going on in the outside world. That compassion, that ability to connect in a different way, is what's going to save us, what's going to change the world. Our authenticity, allowing ourselves to be honest with ourselves and with others, and not in a mean way. I mean, that's never like, oh, you look awful. I mean, that's not honest, that's just mean. So then you have to look at, why would I need to say something that awful to somebody? Because that's the honesty. But to be able to have that level of compassion for animals, for the earth, for each other, no matter what we believe or say, and to see the woundedness and to see the beauty in all of it. And that to me is being our best selves. Awareness of all that we are, positive and negative, and accepting what is, and asking for divine guidance on how to transform, or to be willing to transform, what no longer serves us. So it's being authentic, real, and compassionate, and allowing others to be their authentic selves, not in a toxic way. I'm not talking about any kind of toxic behavior, but to just go, okay, that person is different, and that's okay. We're all weird in our own way, and to just accept that. So what I'd like to do is to go into a meditation right now. And so I'd like to invite you to close your eyes and to take 3 deep breaths, as deep as you are able. And so in this meditation, what comes up for you? What is being your best self? Is there something within you that you are afraid to look at? You are afraid to accept? That there is a resistance to seeing, where seeing it and having compassion for that part of yourself could change a lot, in your life. To also look deeply and clearly in where you are divine. What is it that comes to mind when you think of your divinity? This beautiful, deep, rich, compassionate part of yourself that we all have. We all have all of it. Is there a truth that you have been unwilling to face? And it could be something good. It doesn't always have to be negative. It could be the acceptance that you are amazing. And it's not egotistical to be grateful for the gifts you have been given. So for a few moments, take that into meditation and just see what comes up for you. There's no right or wrong in the silence. And when you're ready to go from your inner sanctuary to this one, so in closing, we are aware of who we are and our truth. We accept ourselves for who we are. And we translate that into compassion for ourselves, and then we apply that to other people as well. And so in that compassion, we can change the world, maybe one person at a time, and it starts with us. So I'd like to end with reading one of my favorite poems by Rumi called Zero Circle. Be helpless, dumbfounded, unable to say yes or no. Then a stretcher will come from grace to gather us up. We are too dull-eyed to see that beauty. If we say we can, we're lying. If we say no, we don't see it. That no will behead us and shut tight our window into spirit. So let us rather not be sure of anything besides ourselves, and only that. So miraculous beings come running to help, crazed, lying in a zero circle, mute. We shall be saying finally with tremendous eloquence, lead us. When we have totally surrendered to that beauty, we shall be a mighty kindness. Thank you.